What is reality? Does anyone else ever struggle to differentiate between what we perceive to be real and what actually is real? On a biology level, we cannot actually see everything we think we see. Our brains fill in the gaps constantly. From that standpoint, none of us are actually seeing reality in the first place, and none of us ever has. My brain is full of patterns. I cannot turn them off. Oftentimes I find myself struggling to tell the difference between what my brain tells me is happening, what I perceive to be happening, and the patterns that I see that blend the two. Observation, perception, and deduction do not mix properly for me, I think. I understand that I do not seem to have as clear a grasp on reality as I think I do. Pretty sure that makes me crazy. But if no one is actually seeing clearly in the first place, are any of us living in reality anyways? I've reached the point where it has become difficult for me to go places. Seeing the news is almost traumatic. The things that I see in reality merely reinforce the fears in my mind as I watch the patterns I see unfurl. Since I know that the media is skewed as well, how can I trust the information being provided to us to be an accurate reflection? Who is steering my perception of the patterns, and what is their intention? What is actually going on? The more widely accepted news merely confirms that we are following a pattern that leads us into chaos. But fear-mongering is profitable. How much of our fate is actually just happening because we're all following the falsely perceived patterns propagated by people who are supposed to be our own? All for the purpose of money and power? I find that sometimes I almost wish for chaos to descend. At least then it's easier to see people's intentions and confirm my local reality. But if that happens, then the powers that be that move and shape the world we all must live in will shape our destinies without our input. Just because they have money? Why should we accept this? We have the internet. We have actual global communication available to us. Why must we stay within the artificial boundaries implemented by dead old men in the past when we as a species are finally capable of deciding our path forward together? What would happen if we dropped the illusions that divide us and look at the problems facing our species with a unified intention? Yes, there will always be greedy and small-minded folk who take advantage. But why does there have to be so many? If this is the summit of humankind, we're about to fall into madness when the illusions are finally stripped away. What if everyone instead had to look at a series of questions and proceed as though they were fact? What if? What if our planet is failing, and within 20 years, 80% of humanity will die of starvation, war, and disease? What if ecological collapse can no longer be halted, and we are about to lose the majority of our sustainable resources and the ability to grow crops? What if our atmosphere has been damaged seriously, and soon the sun will no longer be bearable to our flesh? What if our economy is shot and the money that we pretend has value is becoming more and more meaningless bits of paper, only still working because we pretend it is so? What if we've broken the bonds of family and lost the hearts of the people, leaving only mistrust and regret? What if?